Welcome to the Handcrafted Podcast, the business of making things. I'm Paul, founder of Philadelphia Table Company and the Handcrafted Network, and I believe great craftsmanship deserves great business strategy. This podcast is for makers who want to build not just great products, but a thriving business. Each episode will dive into the mindset, systems, and skills that turn craft into success. All right, guys, welcome back to the Handcrafted Podcast, brought to you by the Handcrafted Network, an online classroom and community for you to connect with other entrepreneurs, other business owners in the makerspace. There's a bunch of classroom stuff, modules. We also do group calls twice a month, which is a great place to connect with other people. If you're interested, visit thehandcraftednetwork.com. There's a bunch of information there. And if you still have questions, feel free to schedule a call with me or send me an email, paul@thehandcraftednetwork.com. All right, so today's topic I wanted to talk about, I just got off a call with a new member who just signed up, and seems to be a common topic that a few other people have had as well, because I had a conversation with somebody last week sort of about the same thing. And that's about niche. That's about figuring out where to start, what kind of work to do, and how to really get the business up and off the ground. I know there's a lot of new makers listening to this. I know there's also a lot of veterans, so I'll make sure we also talk about some veteran stuff and some other ones. But this is for, and if you are a veteran, you've been doing this for a long time, maybe you'll learn a thing or two here as well. So, niches. So somebody talked to me and was like, they spoke to some other coach or something, and somebody said, hey, you need to niche down. And just to give some background, he's very early in the process, very early in starting the business. And, it's in sort of the woodworking space, and hey, you need to focus on one thing. And to me, that was kind of a bad answer. I work one-on-one with a lot of people. And, obviously I have people in the community and stuff, and thinking back to what my business was when I started, I think it's a little early to define a niche when you are in the first, maybe few years of the business. If you're just solo, if you're just starting out, niches are sort of irrelevant. And this also answers the question too of the conversation I just had with somebody, literally just got off the phone, where she was asking about where are you seeing holes in the space? Where are you seeing gaps that need to be filled if I wanted to do this full time? And I think that's a very realistic question. A lot of us start this as hey, I want to make furniture, I want to do this, or I want to do that. But if you really want to make a career at this and you want to figure out how to actually make money at this, whether it be a side hustle or a main hustle, you kind of do need to figure out where those gaps are. You need to really figure out what the things are that really help excel and propel you. What are the things people need? So the thing that I've noticed, and this goes back to the niche question, is a lot of people are looking for things that are custom made anything. So for us, custom furniture, maybe it's custom picture frames, maybe it's custom gym equipment. I don't know. But everyone wants custom. I think in this state of the world that we're in now, everything seems to be conglomerized and sameness. So it's all of the things are standardized, right? It's all standard size tables. It's all standard size furniture, standard size this and that. So I think going into a space that allows you to do custom anything is going to be super helpful to sort of get the ground going. So what I suggested to the person I was talking to this morning, I told her, I think what you should do on your webpage is just put a contact me form that just says, hey, let's get in touch about your project, and kind of be vague. Hey, I do woodworking. I do whatever sort of other thing that you do. Maybe you make, other things, right? So put a get in touch with me to start your custom project today, and start to see what comes in the door. For us, we were in a unique position in the fact that we started in Philadelphia. Philadelphia is known for pretty skinny, narrow row homes. So standard furniture didn't really work. So looking back, it's kind of weird. It seems like it was sort of planned and thought out, but at the end of the day, the market sort of dictated the direction that we went in. Because we were based in South Philly, because we were based in Philadelphia in general, there was a big need, a big void for tables that are 60 inches by 36, like small kind of narrow tables. That's kind of hard to find. It's kind of hard to find higher quality tables that are of that sort of smaller size. So of course, when we started, we were doing custom woodworking. I was doing custom catios, or I remember I did like a bunny cage that went under someone's staircase, bookcases, entry benches, trash can enclosures. We were just kind of doing anything and everything, planer boxes. And what started happening is we started getting more and more requests for these tables because the space was small. And I was like, hey, wow, there's kind of a little pocket here. There's a niche here. But this was after probably 3-4 years of business of doing kind of a whole bunch of random things, to the point that I started getting enough requests for custom tables that I was like, hey, holy smokes, maybe this is the opportunity. Maybe this is the market that I need to start looking into. And what led me down to become inevitably the Philadelphia Table Company. Before this, we were called South Philly Barn. It was just a name for custom woodworking. I thought maybe I would do built-in stuff. I didn't really have a specific agenda. And once the market sort of dictated and told us what niche we fall in, where there was a need, what sort of pockets needed to be filled, that's when I started really focusing and really niching down. And also it was something that we were really good at. We were really good at doing tables. We weren't so great. I didn't love doing built-in stuff. I didn't love doing like the painting process and all of that sort of thing. So we didn't really get into cabinets, and tables were just sort of an easy way to start. The other thing that was really nice about tables was it was higher ticket. So higher ticket value, people only buy 3 tables in their whole life. I just wanted to make sure we were one of those 3 that you would end up buying and investing in eventually, is one of our pieces. So we let the market dictate that, but it wasn't until much further down the path. So it was 2-3 years I was bringing enough money in to sort of do it technically full time. I had employees and everything, and we were doing custom cash wraps and bars and stuff like that. So it was all kinds of things that we then eventually niched down. Now, as the company grows, this is where it kind of comes into the people who have been doing this for a long time, is it was really helpful to start to focus. Once we had employees, once we had proof of concept, we really understood what the market needed, what we were really good at, what we were good at selling, what we were good at making. It became really helpful to focus on those things. So once we were able to focus on tables, I was like, okay, cool. Where are the other voids? So we started doing custom restaurant tables. We started doing conference room tables. So we started expanding based upon that. But also it allowed us to say no to things that we would have otherwise said yes to, and really allowed us to focus and be really good at that thing, as well as so for us, if you're doing we do case goods stuff, but if we were to do cabinetry, we got a cabinet project, I just know to say no because it's going to take up time in our queue where we could be producing, say, 3 tables in that time. And we're going to be making a much better profit margin because it's something that we're good at doing. It's something that we know, and it's something that we can own. And niching just really helps focus that. So when you start to do marketing, when you start to do advertising, all that stuff, and you have a team, you could build systems around this. If you sort of do everything, it's really hard to build systems. It's really hard to build processes that allow the team to grow. But going back to what we said in the beginning, if you're in the early days, it's just you in a garage or in a basement making things, don't limit yourself. Say yes to almost everything. Try to get into people's homes. You want to be known as the X person. Hey, work with Paul. He is the woodworker. He'll make you a custom whatever the heck you want. And what happens is you start to get into people's homes and you start to really spread. The word starts to spread about you and what you're doing. If you do want to get into furniture, something I have been seeing a lot of people doing to get work is they've been posting on Facebook Marketplace. It seems to be a really great place to get work. So you could post a variety of different pieces of furniture you've made and say, hey, we do custom woodworking. But if you're into custom woodworking or custom whatever it is, it's helpful to be part of a local community. I've talked about this before, time and time again. Make sure you're wearing the open for business sign. Share things on Facebook message community groups. Share things with people, with friends, with family, and really just start living that life of this is what I'm doing. Even if you have a full-time job that's, say you're a lawyer during the day and then at night you like to do woodworking, live it, like your full-time job is paying for that. You don't need to worry about advertising and marketing that you're a lawyer unless it's your own legal firm. But if you work for somebody else, then who cares? Start marketing and sharing that, hey, I'm starting this woodworking thing. What custom stuff do you need? Do you want a custom coffee table? Do you want a custom built-in? Do you want this? Do you want that? And in the early days, I was just saying yes to as many things as I possibly could. I love the adventure of that. I love trying to figure stuff out. I loved watching YouTubes of how to do X or how to do Y, how to do this joint, how to make doors, how to do that. And I slowly started to develop the talent and the confidence to continually sell these sorts of things to the point where it eventually led to, hey, I need to niche down. I need to focus on one particular thing. So my word to the wise for everybody is don't niche down too soon, but also don't niche down too late. There's kind of that nice little sweet spot in between. Let the market dictate what it is that you would be profitable. Let the market dictate what's needed and follow that market trend. It's going to be really hard to force something, to sell fishing poles in the desert. So don't try to force something that's not going to work. And if you are, you need to find a way to pivot, right? If you want to open a fishing pole store in the desert, you better be marketing to the coast or to someplace on a lake, because there's no market for that there. So one thing to consider is that a lot of people I see going into this market space trying to create markets that don't exist. So if you really want to make a professional go at this, you really want to get out of your day job, you really want to be working with your hands, building and making things, I think it's about finding what your market specifically is asking for. And it's a variety of things: custom frames, custom bikes, custom woodworking, custom gym equipment, custom stair treads, any one of those sorts of things are all viable business opportunities. I think they're all going to be equally as fulfilling. For me, furniture is great. I love furniture, but I think I probably would have been just as fulfilled if we were doing built-ins or cabinets or anything else in the sort of makerspace. As long as I was working with my hands, I was happy. All right, guys, hopefully this one was helpful. Again, a reminder, I'd love to see you guys in the group. If you're interested, thehandcraftednetwork.com. We actually just did an overhaul of the website, so you can take a look at it there. Also, send me an email, paul@thehandcraftednetwork.com. If you have any questions that you want me to include in an office hours episode, email me, paul@thehandcraftednetwork.com. All right, guys, have a great week. Peace.